Am I the asshole for not acting happy when my wife saw me on our morning commute? So I, 31M, was driving to work this morning and I'm getting close to my exit. I'm driving along in the middle lane, past this slower car in the right lane, and I'm about to switch lanes when the car in the right lane suddenly speeds up, blocking my access to that lane. Automatically, I'm annoyed and I look over to see what the hell is wrong with that driver. Turns out it's my wife, 30F, and she's smiling and waving, happy to see me on her way to work. I don't wave back or smile. Keep in mind I'm already annoyed at the driver speeding up to block my way, trying to make my exit, and caught by surprise to see my wife. My wife sends me a message when she gets to work saying she was sad I didn't wave back, but I figured she was joking and forgot about it. Later tonight, she brought it up and we ended up having a mini argument over it. Turns out her feelings were actually hurt by me not acting happy to see her. From my point of view, I was kind of annoyed because I could have missed my exit or worse, gotten in an accident. I just don't think the freeway at 7 a.m. is the place to do that. From her point of view, she was trying to make a connection and show love and I didn't reciprocate that. Am I the asshole for not waving back to my wife on the freeway when I was trying to change lanes and make my exit? You are the asshole, but not for being caught off guard, but rather for initially ignoring her when she said she was sad. She made 2 bids for your attention that morning, and both were ignored, rebuffed. You are the asshole. We need to cherish our wives, man. Life is short. You have a built-in best friend and lover who supports you and loves you. This is a rarity. I know how frustrating the daily commute is, but you can't let those inconsiderate and entitled drivers bother you. It isn't worth it. Try to make every day count and share that with your wife. There's too much hate in the world. Combat it by prioritizing her and making her happy. You are the asshole because instead of reassuring your wife that you even like her, you decided to argue with her about your God-given right to straight up ignore her whenever you're grumpy at traffic. Also, you're a shitty driver who tried to hurry up and pass someone right before your exit, and then you're all pissy traffic doesn't move out of your way fast enough. Honestly, I would have called my hubby right away and been like, why you driving like an a-hole? These initial comments are wild law. Not the asshole because not only was this unsafe, it's inconsiderate. And then to be actually upset about it is wild. Maybe try, I'm always happy to see you but I was distracted, paying attention to the road, as you should have been. In the future, just text me you saw me on the drive and bid me a good day at work. Then I can reply with all the loveliness you need. But truly not the asshole. What is with all the YTA? No, he's not. She could have caused a major accident, injuring or killing not only him or her but others. The freeway is not the place to make cute romantic gestures in separate cars, going speeds over 70 mph. Distracted driving is a thing, and cars going that fast are harder to control. Had he started to move over, and then she sped up, perking the wheel to avoid hitting her would have caused him to veer into the other lane, probably roll his car, or he could have just hit her, causing both of them to be in an accident. This was a dumb idea and she should not be butthurt he didn't wave because she was irresponsible. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for wearing strong perfume to a funeral which some found inappropriate? I, M22, attended my GF's, F25, aunt's funeral last night. I didn't intentionally put on fragrance that day, but I wore the same suit I had worn to a formal ball in the weekend, where I used a pretty strong oud. During the funeral, I noticed a few people looking at me strangely, and later, my girlfriend pulled me aside to tell me that the oud I was wearing was inappropriate and overpowering for the occasion. I was confused OBV as I didn't realize the scent was still there. Worth mentioning that we were also standing very close to each other and it was a fairly small gathering. Other family members mentioned this to my girlfriend without me there, calling me insensitive. I didn't think I did anything wrong but still apologized. It was definitely not my intention for this to happen. My girlfriend is still mad at me and has been awkward with me since. I tried to explain it was an honest mistake and her response was just avoiding the conversation with me. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole for wearing that much cologne in general. If it's still strong enough to cause comments days later, I can't even imagine how bad it was the day you put it on. Strong scents can trigger a lot of different health problems in different people, even from a short exposure time. Headaches, sinus and airway issues, eye problems and other issues can flare up due to exposure to strong smells and chemicals.
You have to learn to moderate your use if you don't want to be a total asshole.
You're the asshole for wearing such a strong perfume that people are still disturbed by it days later.
You're a walking migraine trigger. It's not just in poor taste.
If anyone at that funeral is sensitive to scents, you likely gave them the choice of leaving the funeral or suffering a migraine for hours or days. You should apply enough scent that if someone is leaned in close to you, like a slow dance, they can catch just a bit of it, but not so much that people will smell it if they are standing at a normal talking distance.
It's generally what's considered appealing, and it's not intrusive for those who are bothered by it. So yeah, you're the asshole for applying scent like you're a middle schooler with Axe body spray. I'm not sure it's quite behavior, but if you are wearing so much cologne, perfume that the smell is still lingering on your clothes a few days later, you are wearing way too much.
Like way too much.
You can always spot the lies with these people.
So, you want us to believe that your suit was still so fucking polluted with cologne from a previous weekend that it was causing you get looks?
No.
You put more on before you left the house, and you lied to your GF.
Now you're lying to us.
Stop wearing so much goddamn fragrance. Probably not the first time she's told you to tone down the fragrance bath.
You are the asshole.
There is no situation where people not in very close contact with you should be able to smell you like that.
Not a funeral and not at a ball. You had used so much at a previous event it was still that strong.
You're just assaulting people with your smell.
You are the asshole. Not because of the funeral but because you put so much damn perfume on for a previous event and you still stink? That's why you're an asshole. Also, don't put perfume on your clothes, ding dong. Am I the asshole for blindsiding my roommates after moving out?
I 23F share a flat with Sarah 24F and Vera 24F. Rent in our city is very expensive and all of us can only affording living here by renting a 3-bed flat as we couldn't by ourselves or in a 2-bed flat. Me and Vera were single when we moved in last year and Sarah had a boyfriend, Jake 26M. Jake is clean, quiet and pays part of our utilities as he comes over most nights. Vera has recently started dating Ollie 23M, who is a friend of Jake and Sarah's. Ollie has made a few weird comments about me. He pestered me about my weight and told me he could bench me and also asked me some weird sexual questions. When I flagged this to Vera, I've never even met Ollie before he made those comments. She said he's just trying to be friends. Sarah and Jake said it was just his sense of humor. Last week, me and Vera had a big fight after I overheard Vera and Ollie in the shower together.
We have one bathroom in the house, and my bedroom shared a wall, so I heard them having sex.
They also didn't clean the shower afterwards, and Sarah stayed at her parents' that week, so I ended up cleaning the shower. I brought up this issue to Sarah, who isn't confrontational, and said now that I've brought it up to Vera she knows how I feel and won't do it again, but she didn't at all find it as weird as I did.
Since then I have avoided Ollie, Vera and kept to myself.
I am not really friends with Vera anymore, and Sarah remains neutral, which favors Vera, so I was thinking of moving out. We had all signed on for the next year as our contract renews in September, before I met Ollie, and my estate agency said I couldn't get out unless the contract had been violated. I just live in that house now. I'm on awkward terms with the other two. So I read the contract and one of the clauses says only declared tenants can stay for extended periods of time. So I reported that Vera has her boyfriend over, and proved it as the utilities went up in the time I said. This got me out the contract, however the landlord is evicting Sarah and Vera because of this. They said I blindsided them and they will struggle to find a place by the end of this month. My parents live 1.5 hours away, so I am moving in with them, but the other two are from a different city so can't do the same. I didn't intend for them to get evicted, but after the fight over the shower I realized I couldn't live with them as any issue we have. Vera won't listen and Sarah will stay neutral. Not the asshole, sorry, they technically voided the lease themselves and left themselves open to that.
They played down your uncomfortableness with the guy and the shower sex thing is just gross, seriously. I mean sucks for them, but there's 4 of them, they can figure it out. Also they didn't think of your thoughts and feelings, I wouldn't bother with theirs. Not the asshole. The rent was split wrong if their boyfriends practically moved in. You were being overcharged, covering their guy's share. Those comments are a form of sexual harassment, never good in a shared living space.
The fact shower sex happened wasn't as bad as lack of cleanup. That's gross.
You let them know those things you had an issue with and it wasn't addressed in an adult way.
So you were correct to go. Only do contracts with people that aren't trying to bully or cheat in their favor.
You are the asshole.
Why didn't you just talk to your roommates and say you're not comfortable and want to move out? Give them the option of finding another friend or the new boyfriend. Don't get them kicked out. Everyone your age has a lease that says no other people can live there and have boyfriend, girlfriend over all the time.
Deal with it like a mature adult.
You did nothing wrong.
You rented a place with 2 others, not 4. Certainly not one who made you uncomfortable.
Don't feel guilty at all, this is on them.
Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They were taking advantage and then it all went south for them.
You're fine.
You just couldn't live with them because Vera agreed not to do it again and she and Sarah both said that they didn't realize it would bother you so much.
OMG, what terrible people. Of course you stopped being friends with them.
I can't help but feel that there is some big lurking elephant in the room that you failed to mention here.
Did you think that you and Vera had a thing or something? Is that why a promise not to have sex in the shower with her boyfriend again now that she knew it upset you was not sufficient to make up for her horrible crime?
I dunno, Op.
Something about this story stinks to high heaven.
And yeah, you do sound like you are the asshole here. I'm just wondering what the hell you're leaving out. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook meals with less flourishes for my sister-in-law? I, F28, make meals every day for me and my husband, M31, to take to work. I enjoy adding my own personal flourish to the meals, usually something like putting toppings in the shape of a heart or drawing a cute face on a snack.
It's a fun hobby of mine, and it brings me joy later in the day to open my lunch and see it nicely arranged. A few years ago, my sister-in-law, F33, had to take a lower-paying job after an accident left her unable to work at her previous one.
I began making her meals like I did for my husband and myself as I knew she was struggling both financially and emotionally.
She lives very close to us, so my husband always just dropped them off on his commute to work. I always added my extra touch to her meals as well, as I enjoy cooking and figured it would be a nice thing to do. However, she called me a few months ago and asked if I could stop making her lunches so bourgeois.
I legitimately thought she was joking, calling a heart-shaped piece of seaweed bourgeois, but according to her, none of her colleagues at work have such elaborate lunches, and it makes her feel as if she is flaunting her status. She is not paying me for the lunches and it takes me an extra 10 minutes maximum to add a fun touch to them, so I was confused on her train of thought. I thought that maybe her coworkers were taking her lunch and she didn't want to tell me, but I agreed to make the lunches less fancy because I wanted her to feel comfortable. Since I make the exact same meals for all 3 of us, now I just don't put effort into the presentation of one of them. Since my husband drops off the lunch on his way to work, there has been 1 or 2 times where he has accidentally given her the wrong box. I have labeled which lunch is not flourished, but in the rush of the commute there is still the occasional instance of taking the wrong box. My sister-in-law asked me a few days ago if I could just stop making both me and my husband's lunches fancy, due to the risk of her being given the wrong one. I refused, as it makes me happy to see the extra touch of personality in the food, and told her that she wouldn't die from one accidental, fancy, meal, which she was furious at and hung up on me. She has been refusing to talk to me over the past few days, and when I tried to call her to reason she kept hanging up. She has told my husband that she will only talk to me if I agree to stop making all of our lunches so bourgeois. I am still making her lunches every day and my husband dropping them off, and while my husband agrees with me that her demand was out of order, he has now said that maybe I should just make all the food less flourished just so that she will not be angry if there is an accidental swap of lunches. I know it would be easy on me to just not flourish the food, but I don't want to give up my hobby for a theoretical chance of her receiving the wrong box. Am I the asshole for refusing? Edit. This is out of character behavior for my Sil. She is usually a very sweet and considerate person. She watches my daughter for free, and has never been so reactionary about a lunch before. I'm unsure about completely stopping giving her lunches due to one issue when she is normally so kind. I will provide an update when I talk with her and my husband. Not the asshole. You make her a free lunch every day. Thank you, is all you should hear from her. I know it would be easy on me to just not flourish the food. It's even easier not to make it for her at all. Not the asshole, but I think there is something more going on here. Is this kind of reaction normal for her when she doesn't like something? It just seems like such an odd overreaction that I wonder if there is something she isn't telling you that would make it make sense.
Why don't you color code the lunch boxes so that it will be easy to quickly identify which box is the sill? Overall, not the asshole. You are doing her a favor. She should be grateful, and if the issue is her workmates making comments, then she really should be standing up for you to them that you are such a supportive sister-in-law and they should be all lucky to have someone like you in their life.
Not the asshole, she's a thankless biatch. Not the asshole.
Honestly, you're a better person than me.
I would have not made her any more lunches if she wants to be immature and not communicate over that. Not the asshole. As close to literally biting the hand that feeds as I've ever heard anyone get.
You do what makes you happy, and if your sister-in-law has a problem with that, she can stuff it.